here in Texas, if you play tennis any time of the day, it's May right now, if you play tennis any time of the day in May, it's going to be extremely hot. So I beat the heat by playing at night. There's a nice breeze, it's cool, and nobody's ever out here. I bet you're wondering, how am I going to play tennis alone? Well, there's an easy answer for that. Nintendo is well known for appealing to a wide audience. They really like that get everybody involved idea, and I definitely understand that. But it all really started back on the Nintendo Wii. Everybody loved that thing, me included. You had a Wii, your neighbor had a Wii, your uncle had a Wii, everyone had a Wii. The Nintendo Wii became one of the most well-known gaming consoles because not only did it appeal to a casual audience, but it also held great games like Super Mario Galaxy and The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Huge titles, but minus those huge titles, the Wii held one of the most well-known video games of all time. Probably because it was bundled with the console. Wii Sports. Everyone loved Wii Sports. Now at the time, sports games weren't new at all. They've been around forever. Look, I have NHL Breakaway 98. I wasn't even alive for this one. With the Wii being the first motion-controlled console, it needed a game that could show that off. And that's where Wii Sports excelled over other sports games. It was such an easy concept to grasp. Swing the Wii remote and character does the sports thing. Everyone, even your little brother, could play. Everybody loved Wii Sports. It was just a simple concept done so well. Now, you think it would be stupid not to cash in on that, right? Especially because Wii Sports was a bundle with the Wii. Any Wii had one. So, when Nintendo introduced the Wii Motion Plus, a stupid little rectangular add-on to your Wii remote that just kind of felt weird, they needed a game to sell it. Well, Wii Motion Plus helped track the Wiimote's motion and gave the Wiimote more capabilities, so they decided to release Wii Sports Resort, the predecessor to Wii Sports. Wii Sports Resort had more sports, better locations, and overall was just another great time. Woohoo Island is still one of the best locations in gaming. Throughout the years, the Wii series grew to many things, but nothing as noteworthy as Wii Sports. And Wii Sports to this day still has a following. You could always bond with someone about the horror stories of not wearing wrist straps or the insane amount of difficulty Matt the computer was in any minigame he played. Wii Sports was great. But as any gaming company does, Nintendo made a new console, the Wii U. Now, because the Wii U could still play Wii games, not a lot of people even had the thought cross their minds, but I did. What was next for the Wii Sports series? Oh boy, and just like anything with the Wii U, regret. Wii Sports Club for the Wii U. The game was fine. It added online multiplayer to the original Wii Sports games and some okay minigames, but overall, the game was met with okay reception. Everybody who knew about it, and it wasn't a lot, was like, oh okay, cool. Now I can't say anything, I haven't played it. But that was the Wii U, so... Then the Nintendo Switch was released, the perfect multiplayer console. 2 controllers are attached to this thing at all times, so multiplayer gimmicks were a given with this console. But something didn't happen. Nothing new to the Wii Sports series. I mean, we got 1-2 Switch, but don't even think about comparing that to Wii Sports. And I know we're not on the Wii anymore, so why would we get a Wii Sports? No, I mean nothing new in the casual Nintendo motion control sports titles, not including the Mario ones. So, it's been 5 years into the Switch's life, and just last week, a new casual Nintendo title was released. Nintendo Switch Sports. So, revealed in a Nintendo Direct not too long ago, Nintendo talked about Nintendo Switch Sports, the next game in Nintendo's sports series, but the trailer caused outrage. Throughout the trailer, it only showed new custom characters, and as everyone was already sending their "uh-oh, no me characters" tweet, Nintendo made everyone sigh a breath of relief and showed us that once again you can play as the iconic Mii characters. But then the next big question was this game any good? Now, I'm not going to compare this to Wii Sports until later because the start of this review and a majority of it is going to be fully focused on the game itself because I like to give these games a chance rather than comparing it to the classics the old games were. But towards the end of the review, I will compare the two, probably discuss Wii Sports Resort as well, but not Sports Club. I didn't play that one, and I don't care to. Anywho, Nintendo Switch Sports takes place in Spocco Square, the new location for all the sports, and this time we have 6 sports. Bowling, tennis, badminton, chambara, volleyball, soccer, and eventually golf, and maybe more. This isn't too bad, 6 sports and 7th on the way, it's okay I guess, but I feel like it definitely would have benefited if it had a couple more sports. Maybe just get rid of badminton too, replace it with something else, because it's kind of a dumbed down tennis. Before we get into the sports, let's talk about Spocco Square. It's a relaxing environment where you're going to play sports. It's a sports park with many themed locations, which makes playing sports much more lively. You'll have people constantly walking around, watching you play. It's a cool area. And not to mention, the place itself is gorgeous. The architectural design is very pretty, and the overall aesthetic is nailed here. It really seems like an actual sports complex. It's so lifelike. And it goes completely wasted. What I mean by that is you can't walk around. Not at all. Some type of walk around and pick your sport thing would have been kind of cool. Just a small nitpick. But when you put so much heart into a location like this, you might as well let us see it. All it is a glorified backdrop at this point. It just kind of makes me sad. Like Woohoo Island. No, I'm not comparing. Okay. Sorry. I was a tad bit disappointed at the lack of freedom. Next, let's get to the characters. So, we have the new custom characters here, and they're fine. Here's the main problem, and it'll get fixed over time. When in base game, your customizations are extremely limited. Most characters, no matter what you do, will end up looking the same. But when you play online, you unlock new customizables, which I guess in the long run should fix that problem. But either way, it doesn't matter because as soon as you boot up the game, you can play as your Mii. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so now to the most important parts. The gameplay itself. Let's take a look at one sport at a time. So first up we have bowling. Well, I can in fact say this is bowling. It works well, it's incredibly fun, and the Joy-Cons are very receptive. Also, there's a neat mode where you and your friends can play with obstacles. Bowling is easily one of the best sports here. Next, we'll talk about Chambara, a strategic yet intense sword dueling game. You can choose from 3 swords, normal, charge, and twin. They're all very self-explanatory. But in this game, it's your goal to knock the other player off the platform. It's an incredibly neat game. You can block and strike. Super easy to grasp. The only issue here is occasionally, and who knows, this might just be an excuse for losing, I feel the Joy-Cons don't pick up some swings due to the fast-paced movement. But again, who knows? That might be just me. Next, we have tennis. I really don't know what else to say here. It's tennis and it works well. The swings are very receptive and it's a neat little time, but you're getting exactly what you're coming for with this mini game. Tennis. Okay, so now we probably have the worst sport on here. Badminton. Now, I know it's not bad at all. It just kind of feels like dumbed down tennis, which is why I don't like it. It's because it seems like filler content. There's no need for this one. Here we have superior tennis. Now, if you enjoy it, good for you. I just think it's unnecessary. It does work well if it's your cup of tea. Enjoy it. I just don't like filler content. Now we have volleyball. Volleyball is done really well here. A lot of games try to make volleyball fun, but video game volleyball normally isn't that fun. But every moment your heart is racing. It's an easy to learn sport, but hard to perfect because there's plenty of fun little tricks and neat timings to get this game down. It's a super fun time. Bring a friend though, it'll be more fun with a teammate. Finally, we have soccer. Soccer can be played multiple ways. You can grab a leg strap and play a neat shootout mode, but if you play 2-on-2 or 4-on-4, that's where the real fun starts. I wasn't excited for soccer when this game was announced. It just kinda looked boring. But man, was I wrong. Soccer is one of the best ones on here. Video game soccer is just really easy to do right, and it was done right in this game. So, now that we have the sports out of the way, it's a good lineup, except for badminton, but this game was $50. Does that justify the price point? Well, to put it simply, no. But where this game shines is online. Now, it is just simply playing sports with random people online, but not only can you unlock other customizations, but you can also get into ranked matches. Now, do I know how to do that? No. The other day, it kind of just said, good job, go to ranked bowling. And I was like, cool. But the online definitely helps this game feel more worth the money. And you can also play online with friends at launch. I emphasize this because a certain Mario Maker 2 didn't let you play with friends online for a good while. That made me so mad. So, overall, it's a fun sports game for the Nintendo Switch. But we're not done here. I held it in for as long as I can. Time to address the elephant in the room. I know, it's common to compare a game to its predecessor. I just hate doing so. But anyway, Wii Sports, the Nintendo Wii household classic. How does Switch Sports compare to this titan of a sports game? Honestly, I think it kinda holds its own. Nintendo Switch Sports has its own style and spin on each sport. They're all incredibly well done, and the motion controls feel more like sports rather than swing the Wii remote and hope. Nintendo Switch Sports also does locations very well. But there's one thing Nintendo Switch Sports doesn't have that Wii Sports does. Memorability. Wii Sports was such a monumental motion control game, even if the motion controls themselves were subpar. Wii Sports had better sport choices in my opinion. No filler content, each sport felt different from the last. And who can forget the funny little details like throwing your ball backwards, and oh man, the theme is so iconic, you can recognize it from anywhere. Switch Sports, like many video games nowadays, are starting to lack that charm old video games had. And who knows, I may just be saying that because I have fond childhood memories. But while I think fundamentally, Nintendo Switch Sports is a better game, it will never be as memorable as Wii Sports. Now, Wii Sports Resort, on the other hand, is a whole different story. Wii Sports Resort is just better than the both of them. Not even a question. So many sports, a cool island, there's no point in arguing. But man, Wii Sports will always be the most memorable. So yeah, Nintendo Switch Sports I thought was worth the money. Not only do you have fun offline content, but you have fun online content with friends too. Friends and families can enjoy Nintendo Switch Sports, and I'm hoping people who didn't have a Wii can enjoy this like we did Wii Sports. But it does lack the memorability that Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort has. Unfortunately, it just doesn't feel the same. But neither Wii Sports Resort, Wii Sports Club, or Nintendo Switch Sports hold a candle to Nintendo's best sports game. That might be a personal preference, but that one's really good. Easily one of the best things about any Nintendo sports game is this is so easy to launch at your TV if you're not paying attention and not using the wrist strap. These are here for a reason, but it's so funny. And I forgot about it because it's been so long. But it's been in media and stuff. You throw your Wii remote and accidentally slips out of your hand because you're not wearing this. But it's so funny that the same thing is happening again. History's repeating itself. Like, look at this. This and this. This is definitely easier to accidentally slip out of your hands and throw. Not only is it slimmer and more, it's small. So you don't put your wrist strap on, this thing's gonna catapult out of your hand. So public service announcement, as much fun as it is, as funny as it is to see those videos of people throwing things at their TV, it's not worth it. Wear your wrist straps, please. I love Switch Sports Tennis, but I don't want to get that ripped.